All right, so the bookmark weaving is done, and it is time to finish this project. Do make sure you've got enough of a tail on each of your yarns before you start. Flip your project over to the back blank side, and you are going to cut each of those pairs of yarns, starting with the first pair. Do not do all of them at once. Start with just 2 at a time. Flip it to the front, and you are going to do a basic box knot with each of those pairs if they have been woven separately. That first one was not woven separately, so I'm just going to leave it. The second one here, I am going to pull, and then I am going to crisscross around through, just your basic box knot. Pull fairly tight, crisscross around through, crisscross around through. Then I am going to cut the next pair of yarns and bring them to the front, and again crisscross around through. And I'm also going to tie to that first one that I did not yet tie anything to make sure that those pieces stay attached. So I'm going to cut and tie each pair as I cut them, tying at the top and tying at the bottom. Once you've done all of your strings, you can then get a glue bottle and put a dot of glue on the knots, on both the ones at the top and the bottom, and all of the cut strings throughout your whole project. I've just shown a couple examples here. Once you put the glue on, you want to work that glue into the string to make sure that it really sets and it's not going to come unraveled. After the glue dries, you can choose to cut those threads, or you can choose to leave them long. It is your choice, but you have to wait for that glue to dry. So you could choose to cut it, but again, wait for the glue to dry. Finish cutting each pair and tying them on the front. Double knotting each one. When you're done with your last set of strings, it's time to look at your starting and ending yarns. If you are one of my friends who had starting or ending yarns as part of your beginning part, you've already done this. If not, it's time to do it now. You need to tie your starting and ending strings, so these colorful strings, into your warp threads as part of it as well. So I'm going to finish tying my warp threads, and then I will do my starting and ending strings. And those are the same kind of box knot, that just the crisscross around through, that we've been doing for the rest of these knots. Just want to make sure that you're not tying too tight, because it could cause your whole weaving to warp just a little bit. So you you're just going to tie crisscross around through with the colored yarn to one of those tail yarns, one of those warp threads. There we go. So that's my starting thread tied off, and now I'm going to take my final thread and tie that off. And again, I'm going to make sure after I've done all of my knots that I put those dots of glue on all of the knots throughout the whole entire project and rub that in. I can then trim any yarns that bug me after the glue has dried. Again, you are certainly welcome to leave those warp threads if you like the way that they look as sort of the edge of your art. Otherwise, you have a beautiful, lovely bookmark that's ready to be used. Or you can add additional fringe if you want to by creating some other cut pieces. But that's on your own. That's it.